All right, so we're gonna get super sciencey on you because it makes us feel good about ourselves saying words that we know that you don't know what they mean. So we're gonna talk a bit about the biopsychosocial model of pain and injury. That is one word, biopsychosocial. I'll kind of give us a little bit of a rundown of what this model looks like, and then Blake, if you wanna kind of, number one, give us your opinion on it, and number two, where you're seeing this in your own life and in coaching and how this can kind of be a bit of a perspective change for us. So the BPS model is suggesting that we can't just look at injury or pain in isolation, and we can't make these drastic correlations of Blake got hurt because, and then fill in the blank. But instead we have to look at things such as genetics, socioeconomic status, medical history, injury history. We're looking at training age, biological age. We're looking at gender, and this flow chart or this pie chart gets bigger and bigger, and we cannot just assume one thing is leading to something, but instead we're taking all of this and we're looking at the person in front of us, Blake. We're taking his essence of who he is, and now we're saying, okay, all of this combined is spilling into the reason why, or the more appropriately stated, the potential of why Blake might be experiencing whatever it is that he's experiencing. So from an athlete or a coach perspective, how do you see this sort of unfolding in real life? Are you able to kind of look back and say, okay, here's sort of a perspective change on how I'm seeing injury now that we're kind of learning the BPS model?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it used to just be a lot of like, oh, your ankle's hurt, like, oh, something's got to be wrong, to now looking more, like you said, more in depth about like, all right, what have you been doing? What do you got going on outside of this? How often are you doing this or that? And what could have happened to lead us to this point? What could have gone on before, and what needs to go on after to try and mitigate? You can't always get rid of the possibility for injury, but to just mitigate it as much as you can.
Yeah, I think a really good example of this, and this is, I think, something a lot of us fall trap to, is we'll be watching our favorite athlete on television, and all of a sudden they go down with an injury and they get carted off the field, and of course the news reporters are all over it. I'll use the example of Kobe Bryant, Achilles injury, I believe it was, or a high ankle sprain. And they're either leading up to playoffs or they're already in playoffs, and now everyone panics. Kobe Bryant has a high ankle sprain. There's no way he can return. And so what happens? The very next game, he is back and taped up, but all things considered, appears to be fully healthy for someone who just recently suffered a high ankle sprain. And what we have to, what we do is we say, well, they're superhumans. Their mindset is different than mine, and they have all of this fancy equipment and whatever it may be, and we say, well, that can't be me. If we actually look at what's going on, if we look at what the research is saying, this is nothing against Kobe Bryant's mental state. These athletes are recovering so quickly because they're addressing the issue so quickly. Versus myself, if I'm out playing basketball with my friends, I get a high ankle sprain, what do? I drive home, I complain to my wife, she encourages me to go get it looked at. I say, no, I'm a man, I'll deal with it. A month later, I'm still hobbling around, and now finally, I'll go get it checked out. Well, by that point, joints, ligaments, everything is just more worse for the wear. Things have tightened where they shouldn't have tightened. Things are now loosened where they shouldn't be loosened. Now my recovery process is longer. And so that is sort of the BPS model right in front of us, where we assume that it's something when it's actually a collection of things. When we look at this, we kind of fall trap into thinking that it is one specific thing that is helping these professional athletes or my teammate, whoever it is, when we have to take a step back, we have to look at it in its entirety.